Rabbi say, so we had another terrorist attack in Eretz Yisrael this morning, unfortunately, and many people are in the hospital. So let's begin with Tu Kipet Lachtilim. I don't see the new Baal Simcha here, Rav Pesach. So whoever can put, we're surrounded here by Baal Simchas. I see Rav Daniel Elephant, who's the Baal Simcha Chasana tomorrow, son. I don't see Pesach. Mouth of you, Daniel. I don't see. I had a nice revelation yesterday when I found out who your Mechutin was. I looked closely at the invitation. Reb Shia Leiner, who is not your Mechutin, but he's your Zayda Mechutin, right? So he is a very old friend of mine. We go all the way back. We were Charusis in Tarvadas High School. That's about 15, 20 years ago. And we sat at the feet of Gedali Eilam, who we were kids. I think I was 15 at the time, so we had no Havana of what we're dealing with. But we were sitting in the same base medrash as Rabbi Chazen and Zelig Epstein and the Simcha Sheps and all these Gedali Yisrael. And we were a bunch of American kids, but somehow by osmosis, these were the Sheres Plata of mostly the mirror, but of the Gedele Elam, but mostly get into it. Anyway, so we're old friends, and I was very pleased to find out that you are now Mechatanim. Wonderful chashuv people.
Yeah. Yes,
okay.
He's such a wonderful man. Look. Yeah.
Okay, they spoke very highly of you. I found out some new things about you that I didn't know. All of them were l'shvach. I won't tell you because I don't want your head to swell too much. Okay, let's start here with the tefillin. Who's my Baal Tefillah with the Tilim? Whoever the Baal Tefillah is. Maskul David, Vaisav Mar Safila. I'm going to get my paperwork in the meantime. Okay, so so today we're going to have a double session, but actually we're going to have a double and a quarter session because I'm going to Shlomo Eichenstein, one of the senior yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael, somewhat familiar to you, some of you at least from previous opportunities to interact with Yisrael, both at Yerachal and otherwise, is here in Lakewood, and I asked him to come in and say a few words of Divrei Chizuk on the Matzav Eretz Yisrael here, and talk to us about the Chayiv Eisenu here. I'm in America, so he's going to come on towards the end of the 12 o'clock hour, probably about a 9:45 for a few moments, to only for about 10, 15 minutes to talk about that. So we're actually having 3 chashuv speakers today. In order to prepare for this, let's talk about chose Shomrim Sachar. Why? Because Shomrim Sachar is obviously as important as any of the other Shomrim. And this may be our only opportunity to learn Shomrim Sachar in depth, because the sugis that we're going to be concentrating on in the next few weeks as we head up to this elusive Yarchikala, which will take place in Mirta Hashem, are beikar going to be mitmaked, right? That's the Hebrew word for concentration. Yes, Eliezer, did I get it right? On shoyel v'hamista'if, Hilchos Shlomo are geschmack, complicated, negate to Lamaisa, negate to everybody, but deliberately called it Shomrim so we can get a taste. I have an Israeli friend who has he's a Alta Yerushalmi, and he has all these great phrases. So he says when you want to give somebody a taste of something, he calls it a kois cognac. Place that seems to be some Yerushalayim phrase. Not a full drink. It's not a fancy bottle of schnapps or whatever. It's a kois cognac. That was the phrase for a little bit of a taste of something. So we're gonna have a kois cognac today on Hilchos Shomer Socher Simin Shin Gimel. So the night people who have been coming on for the last week are ahead of the game here because Rabbi and I, for instance, got a opportunity to learn this right last week. So you're a little bit ahead of the game, but not everybody did, of course. I see my friend. Rabbiner Hachover Reb Samson Bechafer. Eine von unter Grace Chasim. Shalom Aleichem to you. It's a pleasure to see you. If you open up your box so I can say hello to you, would it be even a greater pleasure? Let's see. What does
Good morning, Shlomo.
Okay. I guess it means that today's
Morning.
today's a chag, so he doesn't want to show himself. I got it. What did Rabbi Shapiro want from me? I didn't see. Okay, so let's start here. That would be instructive, even though we're going to use Rabbi Honig's Wax's Marmakaimis here in Simon Shin Gimel. But as always, since I know that many of you were not here in the night sure, I'm going to start with the Psukim in Chumash. So, I forgot to coordinate this with Mordechai. In the first set, all the way in the first set, we had the two Chumashim, 2 pages of Chumash and Parshas Mishpatim. All of Hilchos Shomrim are contained in about 8 or 9 Psukim in Perik Chav Beis of Sefer Shemais. And the first parsha, Chazal tell us, discusses Shomer Chinam, and embedded in Shomer Chinam, we discussed our 4 or 5 different concepts. First of all, what goes into Piyuvei Shmira, what sort of objects, and then if you're learning Meruba in Daf Yomi, I assume Rabbi Golding is, having finished Shas 4 or 5 times, 6 times. I don't want to date you, Yes Chaim. I don't. 1 second. Oh, I know what the complaint is. My mic is not okay. You guys hear me now?
Yes,
You were better before.
Say something.
it was better before.
It was better
Oh,
before.
yeah, you open up your
Now
mic and say something. I got it.
we are. We're saying okay. Now
Open
it's
up
pretty
your
good.
mic and say hello, so I can know whether you hear me or I hear you. What's going on?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Laima,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
No,
Yeah.
you are not hearing us. Okay.
We are hearing you.
I know that's the problem. He can't hear us.
Try again.
Can
We
you hear
said
us
you can't-
now?
You can't hear us.
I
You
hear
hear
you
us
all
now?
loud. I hear you all loud and clear. Okay, wonderful.
Okay. We heard you.
Okay.
We heard
So
you the
now
whole
the
time.
Great, excellent. So says the pasuk and pasuk. So the first Shomer Chinam talks about Geneva, and talks about Al Kol Var Pesha, and talks about Hilchos Shlichus Yad, and talks about Kefil, and talks about Moed of Mitzvahs. There's about I don't know 20 or 30 blots in 1 second. This is Rabbi Cinnamon. Sorry, I had to do the administrative tasks of getting Rabbi Cinnamon here, which we took care of. My secretary didn't show up for work 4 years ago, and ever since I've been dealing with this only with the help of my unbelievable partners here. So that's Shomrim Shomrim Sachar. Kitnei Sharei Chamer Shar Set V'Chol Behema Lishmer. So now in addition to Kesef and Kalim, we have behemoths, umeis, nishbar, nishba, ein raya. 3 things: died, broken, nishba, ein raya. No Adam. So then Pasuk Yud tells you that there's a. Oh, sorry. Pasuk Yud tells you that there is a shvua as there is in Shemachinam on Shlichus Yad, and then Yud Aleph and Yud Beis are the 2 sukkim which distinguish Shomrim Sachar from Shemachinam. Im Ganav Yiganav Mi'imai Yishalom Lebalov. Shomrim Sachar is chayiv on Geneva. Im Tarif Yuviyeyu Eid. Hatrefa Yishalom. Difficult pasuk, and if it was nitraf, so this pasuk is a ptur. Pasuk Yud Aleph is a chiyuv. Im Ganav Yiganav, and the Chazal tell us that in addition to Geneva, it refers to Aveda too. However, the pasuk shot in pasuk Yud Beis is that the Shomrim Sachar is patur on einsim. Why should it be patur? Why should it be patur? He should get paid. Teretz is his paying is only migval to a certain degree. Rashi in pasuk Tes says, "I'm gonna be my end of line 4. Avo al ha'ainis k'may meis me'atzmai." That's if it was died because you were pesheya. Ein nishbar b'chazaka yidei listim. Ve'in raya sheyeid b'davar. Then you are shuat shem yeshava came to devarav v'lay shalach yad v'akach nensa shem shalach yad shlichus yad vitiates all the other previous discussion, and therefore you're chayv b'einsin. But there is a shvua for a shomer sachar, the shomer sachar, even though he has a high degree of shmira, he is pater in einsin. That's the structure of the psukim, which of course leaves a lot of questions to be decided. So let's start here with the Maramakamis here. So earlier, Honigwax asked if you can print them out in the Bar-Ilan form, which is not my preferred way of doing it, but you don't see the Tzur Sadaf, but we're going to go with that. The Siman Shin Gimel and Chayt Mishpat is devoted to Ilchei Shomrim Sachar. And the Mechaber tells you, Shomrim Sachar Chai B'Gnei V'Neveda. V'yesh Ayimrim. Here's the Machlekes Rishonim. Sha'afilu Shoma Karoyu. V'nosan HaKsofim. Tachas HaKarka B'Oimek. He was Shomer Karoyu, and he buried the Ksofim deep down. Mea Amma. An exaggeration, because that's 300 feet. I don't even know in the time of the Beis Yosef if anybody could theoretically dig a tunnel 300 feet. Unfortunately, we know a lot about tunnels these days. She efsher leganva misham imlay al day mechilais. You can't steal from us. You build a counter tunnel. Or he went to sleep in a time when it's normal to go to sleep at night. Why? Because the Shomer Chinav is chayiv under all, Shomrim Sachar is chayiv under all circumstances of Geneva. Chayiv the Geneva of Aveda. So this is the first marker that Rabbi Seinu put down in the chiyuvim of a Shomer Sachar, and from this mechaber we take out that when the Mishnah tells us that a Shem Sachar is chayiv on nishban ala shvur of ala shvuy ala mesa mishalmim es gnevus aveda. There is a Gemara in Daf Tzadik Gimel Amud Beis. That Gemara we learned in the night shiurim, and there the Gemara goes through what the parameters are of what is considered to be the chiyuvim of a Shem Sachar, which is standard Geneva and Aveda, and the Pturim of a Shem Sachar, which is Ein Sim. Ein Sim. So the Gemara in Tzadik Gimel Amud Beis, which we had in the first set of Marmakaimis, which we're not going to repeat today, because we went through this already. This is a little bit of an appeal to those, to the Eilim here, who is on here in this morning shir, and I know this is a special shir, and I'm going to try to do what Shlomo Cherik asked and schedule some more morning shir, because I know it's late for some people at night tonight. We're not going to stop before 9 o'clock, and that's late. And second of all, people have obviously pre-existing Siddharim at night, so I'm aware of that. So we'll try to provide some more morning appearances like we do today. But the people at night went through the Gemara in Daf Tzadik Gimel Amud Beis, where the Gemara talks about what is considered the standard of Shmira that is appropriate for a Shem Sachar, and when he violates that standard of Shmira. There's a machlekes in the Rishonim, a three-way machlekes in the Rishonim, which is codified in Sif Beis and Gimel, as to what is considered to be Einus. So in Sif Gimel, the Mechaber says, in Sif Beis, the Mechaber gives you when you're chayiv. Geneva is basically, Geneva Neveda is a pretty broadly encompassing chiyuv. Who are you talking to, me? What, how was that addressed to me?
No, it's to the island because background noise is coming in.
From me?
No,
Oh, from somewhere. Oh, you're asking somebody to go on mute. Okay, thank you very much. As always, our chief here is being makbid in every detail, which we thank him. Umkin libenu. It should be a zecher for the tatas neshama. Shani Hassam, the Sma says the shame einus treifes alea mashkin hacha the shame nignav alea. The lamdisha chilukim as to when something is Shem Sachar is chayiv v'gnei v'neveda, and when it's hutter ba'insin is where the major battleground of Shem Sachar is, and that's subtle, not so pashut. The Mechaber in Gimel tells you how to be magder einsin, and there is a machlekes in the Rishonim on what constitutes einsim for a Shem Sachar. So let's see what the Mechaber said. Shem Sachar pater ma'einsim ezu einus ba'al of listim mizuyin, an armed robber, afila gama raya mizuyin ufisha listim meiser nafshe yaser, and therefore no one is mechuyev to be meiser nefesh for his contractual, what are we calling it? His contractual obligation. Okay, I know I got a bunch of lawyers on here today, so I have to be precise with the language. You're getting paid, that's true, but you didn't accept upon yourself in the shmira that you took on, despite the fact you're getting paid, to put your life at danger. And listim mizuyin is clearly an itis. This is relatively straightforward. The Gemara says it. Listim mizuyin einisu. Says the Ramah. Not so fast. Im nafla deleka be'ir. Beitzim sheyishemer sachaleim. Have an einis im loy haya yachol ba'atzmai. Loy da'echem. So Rabbeinu Mordechai sticks in. What about a fire? Right? Fire l'chayra is that type of a thing. which either you can save it or you can't save it. If it's a small fire, you can save it. So if it's a major, where are you, Shlomo Cherek? If it's a major, the Great Fire of Chicago, right? When was that? Back in the 1800s, right?
Yep.
How that happened? Is you Lepnach, Mrs. O'Leary? That was her
Yeah,
name, right?
Mrs. O'Leary, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a suffix now whether she really was responsible, but all right, no, let's say she was.
That's mazik raid. That's Aish raid. That's a different sugya. We'll get to that another time, Nether. But anyway, no, so there was a big fire in Ganstadt, unfortunately, in the Heim in Europe. There were numerous fires that burnt the Stadt down. So that's considered to be an einus. What could you do? If it's a small fire and you can save the chafatzim, you're mechuyev to save the chafatzim, and you'll even mechuyev to call chveis, to call hatzala or chaverim, help you get the stuff out. The dafkesh you do bevada shenisrafu. Of any day bebir, rak shayu b'bay shenisraf, any chav l'shava shenisrafu. The dilmu of ayduchav nechsav negoy. So here you go, a subtle distinction. Maybe they were stolen your chayav. Maybe they set a fire to create a diversion. Maybe it was maybe it wasn't a case of strafe which you couldn't protect against. The concept is strafe is something which you can't protect against. Well, now you're back to armed robbers. Armed robberies is felony, the high degree of felony, and therefore you're not mechuyev to be meitzah nefesh against armed robbers. The difference is the list of upakta. This is the way the Rishonim deal with this, and the Ramah is mighting this. This Mordechai, this is how they deal with the subtle differences between what's einus and what's not. Says the Shema, here's the Lamdas Rabbi site. The Chol Agneva, we made a big deal about this on Thursday night, and we're going to make a big deal about it again. Rabbi say, as I said, even if we can't come on every night, if you want to arrive at to show this complex sugya, even if not, if you can't make it, I'm saying that you really got to come on to see. I'm working very hard to clear the flow here.
Your mic just went fuzzy.
I'm working hard to clear the flow, so those of you who can come on, because is that better? Yes, I replugged it. It would be good to come on at night. So when I say, well, we did this at night, you'll have some idea what I'm talking about. So the Sma explains that Gneva is really karvel einus. Nevertheless, the Torah is mechayev v'shem b'sachar Gneva. That's just what it is. That's the Xeris HaKosav. Because arguably, in a court case, I don't know what the rule of bailment, bailees in secular court would be. As all the lawyers have told me, will tell me all the time, it all depends what it says in the back of the ticket. The back of the ticket, the shomrim will be disclaiming for everything, but they'll litigate to the end. Every insurance company litigates to the end to say that it was einus, and therefore they're potter. Nevertheless, it says the Shema, the lumdus is that great, even though that Gneva is karav einus, because who can assume that something is going to get stolen? Nevertheless, chayiv, and there's no chiluk between a einus katan legado, la klal. You're getting paid, you got to keep your eyes open, you can't claim I'm going to sleep. Okay, at some point, it moves from Gneva to einus. That's the Sma's putting down the marker of the basic lumdus. Then the Sma glosses here this business that the Ramah says that about whether he could have been saved or not, which I'm going to gloss over because I don't know if this is at the moment crucial for us. Let's see some shachs here. So the shach says, the Mechaber said, "V'chol kiyotze b'zeh chayiv." So the shach is discussing the machlekes rishonim that I mentioned earlier of what is considered to be a onus in that? So Rabbi Kieger, Gimel brought here on the second page of the Maram Kaimis. You need to remind you can just scroll down here a lot, getting past the Nesivises. Rabbi Honiglax has very high Shiva Savasky thinks we're going to get through every Nesivis here, which we're not. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. So let me show you this for Kveger, because Kveger codifies the Shitais wonderfully. Are we frozen here or what? If you scroll down to Maramaka and end of the, I guess it's the end of the second page. Rabbi Kveger, Chaysh Mishmit Simon Shin Gimel. V'yesh ayimrim shafila shamar kuroyu. So what's going on here? What is this machlekes here? Whenever there's two shitas and they bring a yesh ayimrim, so you need to know what are we talking about here? V'yesh ayimrim and sif pei is afila shamar kuro. The Mechaber starts with saying Shem Sachar is Chai, V'yesh ayimrim shafila shamar kuroyu v'nasa karka, etc. All this is Chai. Says Rekveger, there are three shitas here. Nechte besidai. Rekveger said that we will be confused. He straightens it out for us. Yesh bezeh gimel shitas. Das taisus peri gimel de b'metzia. The perigamafkin. The oines gamor. Kigain. This taisus is repeated in two places in Shas, both in perigamafkin and in perigakoines. Definitely Zayin and Baba Kama. It's clear in definitely Zayin and Baba Kama. But Shaitis Taisus is the Einis Gomor, Shanasim Mechilas Karki, Taka buried 100 feet down, 100 meters down. Aisha Taksua Chayli Shena. For some reason, big fatigue is considered to be an Einis Gomor. Shaimer Sachar Patar. So what's the difference between Shaimer and Sachar then? If the guy can go to sleep, not go to sleep. If you can fall asleep, right? Understand the subtle difference? Yes, Barish, you got the subtle difference in going to sleep and falling asleep. Falling asleep somehow is an einus, according to the Shita. Shita number one. The subtle difference in the Shabbat is a action that on its face, the action looks good, but it was a defective action. Let's give an example here. You're a Shabbat Sachar, so you're Shemachina, the guy gives you his valuable 15th century manuscript of the Rambam to hold while he's going away. So if you're a Shemachina, you keep it in your apartment, you lock it the way your regular Pladelet locks. If you're a Shemachina, then not good enough to have a regular apartment door lock. Because everybody knows that, there are thieves around. So therefore, there has to be some extra security. That's the chiluk between somebody that's ruach mitzuya and somebody that is a ruach shein mitzuya. In my entire, if you want to sit, just move the move the coat. Just move the shein mitzuya. So that's shita number one. Das and muki safe. I'm sorry, I skipped a line. The chaim ba'al bid in the island she v'zeh shem misachar. The tzas pshia. If you're a shem misachar, you have to have two shifts. Everybody understand this? If you're getting paid to watch this Rambam, can't say I'm going to sleep at night, because then the kind of them come at night. So there has to be a security company has a night shift. That's what they get paid for, night shifts. Because otherwise, all the would come at night, and that's the end of the game. Because that's already k'tas pshia. Okay, Kveger uses the language in the Rishonim k'tas pshia. But Einis Gomer Pato Legamre. That's on Wikimesi, that's Shita number one. Takim is Chena Uva Riz. Sorry, Bein Rucham. Near Lei B'Shem Ramban. L'chalek. Then if they have a Karka Chayim, not good enough. You need to have a higher standard of Shmira. About Takim say Chayim Pater. You had Corona. No, Corona's not a good example. Why? Why is Corona not a good example? Eliezer, open your mic. Why is Corona not a good example? Open the mic. Why is Corona not a good example?
Because arguably, a person, maybe the first week back in Purim, Tafshin Pei, that very Xeritic time, a person could have tied that Corona is an Inus. But once Corona gets established as a understood to be challenge, then you're muchayir to protect yourself against Corona. A guy can't tie that. I got Corona. I got a very high fever, and I walked away from the shmir, even though I'm getting paid. Then get somebody else. But the talk to the cheli we're talking about here is Nebuch. The guy had a cardiac event. Potter, the Ba'isha ain't a mechuyev klal lishmar. This is sheet number 2. Das haraj b'v'harash v'hatur. V'chein das taisis perik hakainis. That's the taisis that I referred to earlier. The chayev b'chol ha'ainis el im kain sha'ainis b'guf ha'chefet sha'shashloi listim. Shashalo listim stole it. Ava ba'ainis b'gufa shal shayber chayev. If there was a case, what the secular law they call an act of God, and there was a lightning strike, and it burnt up the rare Rambam, nope, that's putter. It has to be mamish. That thing that's called an act of God. Everything in our life is an act of God, but the guy don't understand this, so they call it an act of God. But when the chelik here is between a din in the chetza and a din in the gavra. The din in the gavra, all chayil machayev. These are the 3 shittas brought by Kiveger. Okay. So the shach has to be machriya between these 3 shittas, and the shach in the Shimon Gimel, there's only one piece of shach here at Sif Beis. But ikar kapaiskim gneva ba'inus gomer pater shemesach. Okay, inus gomer is pater. Now that's what the Yanam are for. I'm sure the Rav will begin with an example. The Yanam are there to tell you that what's considered to be an Einus Gomer and what's not considered an Einus Gomer. The parameters we know, we have 3 shittas, but the Shach tells you that we paskin that Einus Gomer is pater. Kedai Ravena Shach Lismeich Olav. Then the Shach in the next piece brings up a very interesting scenario. What if there was a fire, and in every fire, as we know from the whole Perik and Masechet Shabbos, you can save stuff, and the guy runs out and he saves his stuff, and he leaves the other guy stuff there, and he claims, well, I just strafe. What's zaktir? Let's get some opinions here. Rabbi Snyder was zaktir to this scenario. What do you say? So the Shach discusses this, and he says, "Afshu matzah shloim mitaychach nisra chavetz shemer olav. Given shayachal hatzel chavetz loy have a einus tam shay nisra chavetz shaloi." A guy can't taina. Hashem Yisach was getting paid. Can't taina. I went to protect my own thing, but what can I do? The other guys got burned up. What are you mechuyev to do if you're getting paid? Says the Shach.
You're fiduciary. You got to take care of the other guy's stuff before yours.
Before yours. What happens if your stuff is worth $1 million, and the other guy's stuff is worth $1,000, and you got paid $1,000 to watch it?
And you have to take up the loss for what you cost to his stuff if you made a choice.
So what's the reason for that? What's the reason for that? So the Shachtas tells you that this is an open question, because who says the umdana is that the guy agreed to this? So you have to bring rayas to this.
So it's like you destroyed a biyadayim.
Okay. And then he says, even, why? So, listen what he says. What a big chiddush. He says that it could even be nechshav kipshia what was the word used? To be negligent in your fiduciary duty can be nechshav to a pshia, because you have to take care of other guys' stuff first, and this is clearly putting your interests and being a negeba davar, and even maybe a sharmachinim is chayv in that, which is a big argument and a big chiddush. So the Ksais on this issue says that if you have an attack on your flock, so you're going to get Raya Macherim and Maklis. So the Ksai says I'm just trying to figure out which one of these, how much we'll be able to do in the next 20 minutes. Okay, let's see this Ksais, because when you get up in the morning and you say, I don't know what kind of day I'm going to have, and somebody tells you, today you're going to learn a Ksais Choshen, the way we were taught, going all the way back to first year of high school, is that learning a Ksais is a schus that the Rabbi Shlomo granted us, because the Rabbeinu Ksais had the Yeshiva Shuruch HaKodesh, and every svara he said was svara Yeshara, and our Rabbeinu Ksais is Nishan Olav Limud in the Seder Nezikin. Kasem b'tshuvas Ramah b'shem Mesacha sheniacha b'kadim shalai. He put them together with his stuff. He gave you a silver the becher, and you put it in his silver cabinet. V'nisraf b'teva im shalai. V'hitzel dvar macharim shebecheder zeh shayu sham. V'oisa teva lehitzel chayiv. What's the back and forth here? Back and forth here, yes. He put his other stuff in front of the silver, but he tied us. But you see, I couldn't help it because my silver was burned too, it was stolen too, whatever. Says the Ramah, She'ela de Mikra Pshia. He could have saved the guy's silver. Afagavta chutzrach lahatzel mimoinai hanisrulei makamachar ein za oinus is not an oinus. It's a standard gneva, and you are chayiv. And it brings a right from a Rajba, shekasim b'geis perik apayim, shekasim d'shem esachal el chayiv afilu b'oinus ha-megiyah l'gufay. Gunshah sasa shena. There you go. This is that shita you saw in the Kveger. Oinus achar ad shemagiyah l'gufay shel pekad mamash, unless you have a lightning strike on the Pikadain. You got to go down. I'm going to wait till the end. If you're marking with yellow, you got to go all the way down to the end of this phrase. Last line. I want them to see that phrase because that's the phrase which we saw earlier in the Chilik in the Rishonim. It's still not an einus. Well, my see could have saved it. So here's the lamdas Rabbi say, whether or not the einus is in the person or the einus is in the bekadon itself. In that case, Zav came and he went after the bekadon. Shenichnas kaidim sheyada ha'einus. Well, there's chiluk by nixon the shusolai. Then we have to start making some chilukim. Abakahai gan sheyach latzach shara einus liitzel mikra pshia. V'acharmi Zav echad ein einus afil b'shas mishlachas zaivim af agav the bavada yachol gilei nezik mizeh begufay kolshkem mimoyne ichashlemer say mikra pshia. Fine. Adkan divrei aktsais, and then he goes on to discuss this possibility that the Shach says that since it's a pshia, maybe even a sher mechinam is chayiv in such a case. And he argues with the Ramah, and he says, "Ein nir lofinis vaiti bavada b'sher mechinam potter kol shetar lahatzos shaloi." Even if he want to save themselves first, tefilu nom kad naim inish vayel bid na'alin shay sher mechinam potter godim b'zeh. Okay, and he says the Ikarai from the Ramah is what's considered to be Paishaya. He says this is only in a case of a Shemer Sachar, but it doesn't apply to a Shemer Chinam. He says it's called a Pshaya. That's because the guy Shemer Sachar is a Pshia. Okay, so the K'tzais still the vek here that the Ramah, that I'm not agreeing with this Shach that it could be applicable to a Shermachinam because the Pshi doesn't extend that far. The Nesivus, on the phrase in the Machab which says a number, because everybody understand this now, everybody say? So the Lumdus comes back down to a chilik between a Pshi and the Chayfetz, where you're chayiv, or a Pshi and a Potter, or a Pshi, lightning strike. That's my mashal for the Pshi and the Chayfetz, to a Pshi in the person, in the Gavra, where you are chayiv, because that's what a Shemer Sachar undertook, and all the variables here, and putting your own interest first. The Nesivus, there's two or three important Nesivuses here. Let's see the first one. The Mechaber says he went to sleep. Tumuli. Lama kasses a belashni shaimrim. Habazek kula maidim the chayim. A Shaimer Sachar has to have 2 shifts. You can't run a security company and say, I'm only watching during the day, unless you want to disclaim. Doesn't work that way. You're chayiv. The time alone, but Masidaf Tam Gimel Krav Chizda. The Shaimer Sachar chayiv is it. The late pligi rakba on Sase Sheda. A shower is God double goof. Again, I'm a little bit not clear what this Ansase Shane is. Such a massive thing. You fall asleep. Okay, I'm not sure, but this is considered to be, according to the Rishonim Achrayim, certainly a Einus God. Fine, we'll accept that for what it is. So the Sri the Chal the Patra Tire Rak Einus Chayfetz. I must go with Shabbat. Everybody in the chiluk here? Everybody say we're driving home the chiluk between the Einus and the Chayfetz, and the Einus in the person. Now the Nesivus goes back to the argument here that the Ksais had with the Shach. Going back to this Ramah, whether or not this Pshia would be so bad, taking care of somebody else's chayfetz ahead of yours, would be a chiv and a shem b'chinam too. Ishlam b'shlam the shem b'sachar. Even the shem b'sachar can have a tiny. I never agreed to lose $1 million just to watch your chayfetz over mine. Okay, too bad. That's inherent in the contract of getting paid. Shem b'chinam. So shem b'chinam is only chayv and shia. So you have to upgrade this such a decision to pshia. Fine. So it says, I'm a chuvas Ramah. That's the Shach is bringing. That's the chuvas Ramah about where the guy selected to watch his over everybody else's. You're Makol Reiser Shevi Sham the time with the Shemer Sacha Kol Shlei Guinness and Kuvash Chayvitz Rak Kuvash Shema Pshia Negative Kuvash Chayvitz. Choltin Gufay Shel Shemer Guvash Chayvitz. Chem Sif Shid Alf Kol Eil Gav Shemer Sacha Pshia Alf Gav Shemer Chinik Einus. Shemer Sacha Nira. Here's the Nesivus's vart. Dafelu Haya Einsin Eisim Begufay Einus Nefasha Shaloi Yatzil Chayev. Hear this? The robbers came, held a gun to his head, and he said, I'm being honest you not to be muscle. Too bad. Why? Because the Machevin La'afila Megia of Chayla Shal Tiraf Adas, Kivavur B'Sif Beis B'Tur, even if he went crazy. How do you know? Where do you see Tiraf Adas as base? So, Martha, can you go back to the first Mar Makayim? Because I said it was a cardiological event because Dibra Kasim Baheva. But the Paiskim discuss when it says Kafatz Olav Chayli, go back if you can to the first Mechaber. I understand that we're having a slow computer today. I think the computer is maybe all the way back for the first piece. Maybe the computer is protesting that he doesn't want to work today. Whatever.
It's minus 8 degrees out.
First piece. So you see the second line, the marker, please. Kafatz Olav Chayli. What does that mean? Okay, so it doesn't. In the Paiskim say Kafatz Olav Chayli went crazy. The reason I said cardiological event because it's hard to understand that the guy went crazy. He went from being totally shafui to being totally crazy. I don't know. Maybe he's bipolar or didn't take his. If you're bipolar, you should not such a good idea to be a shomer. I don't exactly know what the mitzias of kavatel l'chayli, but in the Rishonim and the Paiskim, this is such a mitzias that is considered to be that's a scenario which would be a ptur. So the Nesiva says, Kimavur B'Sif Beis Uberan. Too bad. You went crazy, Yechayev. Again, can't argue Mitzias issues, even though one of the Geshmaka part of Chesh Mishpat is to take real live cases. So what's the Mitzias of somebody going crazy on the spot, and therefore the Shmira is nevertheless Yechayev on the Shmira? I'm not sure. If you can put it back, please, I'd appreciate it. So the Nesiva says, the Cheli shall tear for das ka'inus nefashis damya v'afil achichayev. We're in the Nesivus on the next page. What happened here? No, please. Next paragraph. Just slow down. Go scroll down. Okay, so however the two Yud Tzadikim, so I see basically everybody on this chat here. I don't use the word chat because chat is put. We don't chat. We talk and learning. So everybody in this chaverim here wish a heartzik mazel tov to Yididei. Or Baruch Hashem was surrounded mazel tov. Yididei of Pesach. So last night went from the Shir to Avart for his son Binyamin Zev. Right? Pesach? Baruch Zev, sorry. Was busy. I had to guess. So now Baruch Zev. Baruch Zev letter became a chassan last night. So everybody wish Shabbat Tov Mitzlachas, the January Pesach. Okay. Correct. Correct. The heartfelt mazel. Okay. So says the Nesivus. So a guy went crazy, you're chayiv. So why should a guy holding a gun at your head be potter? Too bad. What an unbelievable svara. Philemon the Paitch B'Simon Shalches, B'Nasas B'Yad B'Oinus Machs Mefashais. That's a big nidain in Shim Peiches Nilchas Ritzicha. Rabbi said that's the shear here in one line. Rabbi on the Nesivus, we thank Rabbi Kivega for being misakim all the shitas, and we thank the Nesivus for being misakim the lumdus. Isham Sachar is chayiv on everything except Echay Shehigia Ha'oinus Legufay Shal Chayfetz. Now you can go home and tell your grandchildren, Rabbi say, you learned today Ketzais and Nesivus. What's better than that? I feel like that's so nice. That's a chiluk to sachar and chinam. The kivin, the kaimelam, the simshi b'ches, the einus mam merka einus, nearer the mansu einus mame. That's a big high gavna said if you save Shimon the Shomer, Reuven is the mafkin. Ivan is a gangster. My gangster is Ivan. Even though we found out from this Yerushalmi last week that there can be Jewish gangsters. Fine. But he's a gangster. And Ivan showed up and said, if you save Shimon, the Reuven's Pekadite, I am going to do a terrible financial loss to you. I'll rip up, I'll burn down your house. The Havik on Su, Ba'inus the Fasha is the Potter. You can't color Ayashem Ainchi Rak Hashem Sachar and not in a Shomer Chinam, and the Nesivus agrees with the Ketzais. Beautiful. Okay. Rabbi Sayer, Eric Kveger, Ketzais and two Nesivuses. Weiter. We're doing good here. So let's see if we can finish a shtickle Piskei Tshuva with a story. Where are we up to here? The Kvega we did. So we left here with the Piskei Tshuva and one last Nesivos. Okay, let's see how much time we have. 6 minutes. Said the Piskei Tshuva. I am a chuk some cipher chelik chayshim misput simin tazayin. Shukaz with gankein the kainir enochem the svarad leb she elegab in Terusi yiseir the shem misachar. Of leisher is kirim. Blood kasvashon the Philip shem misachar dafcha heichel the makabel agra lehedya. That's what I paid you for. That's the tiny in the Gemara in Bamitzia to upgrade the Chiyuv of Shem Misachar. I'll call you Hanadunim Shem Misachar Ma'imid Adas. But here I needed to shove a Kul Alma of Agar day. So what is this all about? So there are two types of consideration. Consideration, as us lawyers learned many years ago. There's actual cash consideration. And all through Shas, there is consideration called Hayana. Everybody knows that. Hayana. It's not tangible consideration. It's what, how would somebody define it? Snyder define it to me.
A benefit.
An intangible benefit, right?
Yeah.
Adab Shiltain, your Adam Chashuv, an Arev is willing to do a guarantor. You only go over to guarantor to someone who has impeccable credentials, etc., etc. Says the Piskei Tshuva, bring some cipher, some cipher, that there's a chilik between the hana of a Shem Yisachar, cash consideration, and the hana of a Shem Yisachar that is other consideration. The nafik kala in Ishmamnehu. That's a Yisaitistic Gemara in Perik Shoyel. Not the Shach, this is the Mahar Shach. Shebeknesses Gedola. It's one of the Gedolei Sfarad. It's brought in the Knesset Gedola. It was the Rav in Kushta. I'm actually Kasavti Bezeh and Beis. Okay, Piskei Tshuva has a lot of Marim Kaimis. By time it costs Sham B'Maisa. Here's the story. Shenisrav Eitzel Gaboy the Chever Kadisha Gemilas Chesed Mashkoinois Shel Chever Kadisha Sheyamunach Etzle Bekiv Kas Avonim Betzirah Chafesim Shel Atzmai Shahaya Ba'isa Kippur B'Leika Shenafnu B'Leiyam Kippur Nebuch. I don't know if you know this, but the biggest day for Gnevis in Eretz Yisrael is Yom Kippur, right? That's the one day when the apartments, everybody's apartments are empty, at least in our Kreisen. So here's the story. They were mafkid the Gechever Kadisha, apparently in the Haim. In those days, the Gechever Kadisha was the central casa for all Gemilas Chesed, the administration of the city or the town or whatever. So they were mafkid with the Gechever Kadisha stuff. I know they put it into a stone vault, and there was his stuff was there too. And a fire broke out in Yom Kippur. He had a wooden house. We all know what that means, right? That, you read that, you go, uh-oh, right? He had a wooden house. Even though he put it into a stone thingy, but and now everything got burned up. Stop right here. Okay. Don't look further at this Piskei Tshuva. We have 3 minutes here. What are the Svaris Mekana Lakana by side? Chayiv or not? No? Chayiv or not? Who wants to step up here? Rabbi Golding, you have your mic on? I see it's on. I'm calling on people who I know. Are you chayiv or not? Based on the Yun in the Ramah. What did Ramah say? Ramah said you can't leave your own stuff. You can't leave the stuff that you're supposed to watch on your Hashem Yisachar and save somebody else's. Yes? What if it was both? So we had a double set of shilas in this machlekes in the Ramah and the Shach. So, and whether it extends to a Shem Chinam. So what happened here? That when the stop ache, if the Gabi is Chai, B'Shem Chuvas or not, the guy liable to have itis. Not itis in such a case. Why? Because what you do, by saving yourself, you're stamping that it wasn't an itis. And therefore you Chai. Be'eshev, Avadai, the Gabi Chaver Kadisha, Sheyesh B'Yodai Mufkad. Chevtzev Chevra, Beli Safek Lushemer Sachar Mitam Shutaf. Why? The Bnei Chevra Kadisha Shutafim Zel Zeh, the Nasim Shemer Sachar Zel Zeh. So, the Chevra Kadisha here, I guess, was a committee that did more than just bury people. They were the Gamach and the Chesed in the town. Everybody who is invited to join this Chevra Kadisha, not everybody gets to join the Chevra Kadisha. They all are partners in an endeavor. And once you are partner in an endeavor, they become a Shomer Sachar to each other. Where does that come from? Where does that come from? Obviously, the Yisoid was that a Shomer Sachar is chayiv to watch under a certain standard of care. Being mafkid with the Chevra Kadisha was a way that people did to watch their chafatzim. If you're a shutef, a member of this Chevra Kadisha, says the Chasam Sofer, I think the Pesach Tshuva is still quoting the Chasam Sofer. Didn't get a chance to look it up, but I think so. You are inherently a partner in the standard of Shemira that is imposed by all members of the Chevra Kadisha, and you become a Shemer Chasaka Zeh Lo Zeh, even without explicating it out. The Shilu B'Bailim Ein Kan. Okay, that's a separate issue, as we'll get to over the next month. We learn Shemira B'Bailim. Maybe this is considered to be a Shilu B'Bailim, therefore it should be Potter. Okay, we'll get to that separately. The Koshkein Gam Kaminafik Lekol the Gam Mevnu. That's as we said earlier, that's a inherent, intangible value and benefit, which makes him a Shemer Sachar. You don't have to have a cash to become a Shemer Sachar. You less pay Mashakasa Rajmu B'Shach. Koshkein have a Shemer Sachar be or not. B'chol Zeis nearly lifter Sagabe Milashalem Hef Sodom. Nevertheless, says Chum Sefer, I'm going to pass his putter. Kivin lemekabel agol lehedi yeshleim lemechayim mitzvahs yiseret. So the Chum Sefer goes with this chilik, that the higher standard of care is only when you become a Shemer Sachar with cash. Become a Shemer Sachar bihana or in Shemehemna. Yes, you may be a Shemer Sachar, but you don't get elevated up to the highest level of Shmira, and therefore, being a member of this Chevra Kadisha is a kibbutz. It's covered, shivas, but it's not cash, and therefore.
So we're creating a new category of shomrim. We now have a fifth category.
Meaning
you're on the surface of shomer sachar, but you don't have those responsibilities.
Okay, so you want to call that a fifth category? No, we call it gradations within shomer. Now you're going to find out that every shomer has a whole different degree of gradations to it. Shomer Sachar with yes chayv neida, some Shomer Sachar potter, mine sigdaila, mine gomer, three machlekes. Some Shomer Chinam are chayv b'pshia. Who knows what a pshia is? Nice Sachar, a schiris has its own complicated list of rules. So all these shomer have sub-gradations. We're not going to call them another shomer. We're just going to say it's another shomer. Okay, Rabbi Sai. This morning, the island was gathering here, and the nice big chashuv island we have here internationally. Dayan Hodogras, you'll be pleased to know you'll have a Talmud now from Eretz Yisrael. Actually, we are pleased to have speaking for us today one of the chashuv dayanim in one of the prestigious bati din here in Lakewood. Hagar Narav Hodogras, who is going to teach us the halachas of Shomrim Sachar. You kindly come here so I can hook you up.